This is a new deck I got. I saw Moon Baby's video talking about Dirty Pam, and this essentially is the Dirty Pam deck, and it's called the Radian Wise Spirit Tarot, and it's a mini deck by Scappini, and it's currently in print. It has a linen finish on the box, which is different, and it's a little coffin box. So I was really curious because the back of the deck was really neat for a Rider-Waite, and the size of it. This is the only small deck I have like this is the Visconti Sforza miniature deck. So I thought, well, it's time for another small mini deck. I finally realized where this image comes from. It's from Tarot of the Imagination, now one of my favorite decks, which I've been thinking about redoing. What are my top favorite decks? Favorite decks that are functional to me. And so I will at some point talk about those decks, because I think it seems like the more I read, the more decks I get, the more I study the tarot, it changes, and I think that's really important. So I thought we'd just briefly go over this little deck. Everybody knows what the Rider-Waite looks like, but so this is called the Dirty Pam, which I think is kind of funny. And the colors are kind of almost like they've aged and rusted. The back is beautiful. I love the rose and the lily background. I think it's very apropos for this. So it's like a Rider-Waite, but it's smudgy, dirty, kind of, you know, not as clean. And I like that. I think it's really neat. It kind of gives it a neat appearance. So I'll just go through the major arcana. It's almost like they've been redrawn and recolored, or just recolored. That's probably the biggest thing. Hierophant. Lovers. When I think of the yellow is this pervasive yellow that, and like a yellow-orange color keeps popping through here. It's almost like a filter's been applied to them. At least you'll have Pamela Coleman Smith's signature on some of it. It's cut off on some of them, like it's cropped. But I like the size of this deck. It's fairly neat, and the cardstock is typical. Nothing crazy. There's the Devil. Tower. And there is some cropping involved as far as the actual pictures, so, you know, it's a mini deck, recolored essentially. There's so many Rider-Waite clones out there. Judgment. And the World. And then we have the minor arcana all here. Yeah, dusty blues, dusty yellows. So, I'm going to do something. let's try to shuffle this tiny little deck. That's what I'm interested in. Can I shuffle this effectively? So probably I would probably just mix it up. It's kind of hard to get a hold of these cards. And I might do a there. Just kind of see how they shuffle. Seems like they're doing okay. One more time, I'll just shuffle them like this little tiny deck. So let's ask one of the most interesting questions I think you can ask for a deck. Tell me about yourself in one card deck. And I actually got one of my favorite cards that tells me this deck is, it's going to be in tune with who I am. The Moon, if anybody knows, it's my favorite card. Because of the dual nature depiction, and I just think it's a really good card to evaluate any deck on, the Moon card. So this deck, if I would have gotten, you know, something I'm not that comfortable with, the Moon card is my favorite. So this deck is telling me, hey, I'm glad you bought me. You know, I'm yours. Use me. That's really, really neat. I'll put you back in there. So that's happy. The deck likes me, I think, and this is the first time I've shuffled it, so I'm going to go with that. Oh, it's very cool. I'm going to put these back in the box. It came with a little white book. There's the sort of the title card. It's a white book. It says Line Art by Pamela Coleman Smith, which is telling me that, yeah, the recoloring is something else. Copyright 2020. It's this year. So I'm going to put this down in there. Cool little deck. And there we go. So this is the Radian Wise Spirit Tarot. Very portable little deck. So I thought I'd make a sort of a part 2 of the video since it was kind of short. What decks am I really feeling right now at the moment? Because it does change. So I have 8 decks that I feel are my most usable tarot decks. Some of these are still in print, some of these are out of print, but they're the ones I think are easy to work with for me, identify with, and they seem to be happy with me touching them and working with them. So my go-to is always the medieval Scappini. I do love this deck. Something about it, since I got rid of my original one, I had to buy it again. I just think it's lovely. The artwork's lovely. It's almost like an updated reincarnation of a Visconti deck. I do love it. I think the artwork is great. A lot of symbolism is there. It's very preserved. And the cards are beautiful. They're that creamy color. They have sort of the golden feel to them. If we just look at a random card. So here's Judgment. Oh, that's the title card. Let's look at the Fool card. Oh, there's the Fool. The back is this sort of gold, which is very reminiscent of a Visconti deck. You have this sort of lion thing biting him. I just think it's amazing. It's a really nice deck. And it's a longer deck, so it feels good, and it slides very well. I like this deck. Never been disappointed with this one. Probably the next one is the Barbara Walker Tarot. This is one of the original ones. And it's simply wonderful. The cards are, the image is a little small on the cards, but I really like it, and It's been out of print, but then now there's the 10. But I guess the one thing here's one. So here's the Ace of Wands. The artwork is so tiny. That's my one thing about it. Very simple looking cards, and they do tell you what the card meaning is, so it's really good for beginners and people that really like this deck. Kind of the artwork is sparse, but not too sparse. And I actually got this one as new old stock, so it may be old, out of print, but it still had the wrapper on it and never been used, so I was really, really happy with that. Here's one that's still in print, Navigators of the Mystic Sea. This card on the back says it all. It looks, there's this computer, but it's stylized chair, different colored people in it. It's really just a neat deck. I really love this deck. It's still in print, and I think the author, she has it. You can buy it on her website now. Navigators Tarot, the Mystic Sea. I just love it. It's great. Very cosmic feel to it. And it reminds me a lot of the Barbara Walker Tarot with the simplistic images there. This one is out of print, Tarot of the Imagination. It's one I recently talked about. Published by Llewellyn, whereas all the three before were US game systems. I love the artwork in this. I really like it. The way it feels. It feels nice. It feels like a kind of mysterious deck that kind of, the more you use it, the more it unveils to you. The deck just resonates with me somehow. Then we have the Liberty Tarot of Stars Eternal. Very philemic, but that's okay. It's also kind of has a cosmic feel to it. It's currently in print, and it's by Scappini. Again, that simplistic artwork, familiar with Barbara Walker, Navigators Tarot, the Mystic Sea. Same thing here. I guess I'm just really drawn to that, and I think it's a very, very usable deck. I really like this deck a lot. It's simple, but yet it's looking at more Kabbalah, philemic sides to the tarot, and I appreciate that. This one is one I recently found this year, and I've fallen in love with it. It's Tarot of the Spirit. It is, this is the, it's a certain edition. Where is it? It's called it's like the Ultimate Edition or something. It just includes a transparent Tree of Life card, and I think that's very cool. The artwork in this one is, these cards are in here tight. The artwork reminds me of very fluid, beautiful, artistic, but yet the major arcana are very meticulously rendered. Although it feels like the deck is in two pieces, like fully rendered and then like very sort of abstract, I just love the way the deck kind of feels. And oh, there's the clear card. There's that clear card that you can overlay, and it's just the Sephiroth. That's all it is. Let's see, I'm gonna put you in there. I think it's really cool to come with like a key card like that. I have not seen that included with the deck. And then Stellas Tarot, which is highly sought after, out of print, by A.G.M. Mueller. I love this deck. Simple, You know, beautiful cards, kind of carnivalesque. It's its own style, but wow, it just feels really nice. I love the back of it. I think it's really nice, pleasing, and it says Stella on it, and you can flip it. It's reversible. Just a really cool deck. I just like it. It also has sort of a theatricality to it, because a lot of these, the way a lot of these depictions, there's like they're almost like they're on stage with curtains opening up. And then the 8th deck I kind of really like, that I really sort of, it doesn't even come with a box, and it is the Tarot de Ozarks. The cards are so wonderful. I've shuffled this one and used it and had fun with it. You can see there's the colors of the cards are just, it's almost like you're playing with different decks, but all the artwork is very, very, oh, there's the Ace of Cups. You see how almost abstract this is. It's so lovely, yet you know what it is. So it's a Marseille style deck. But you have beautiful cards like that. I mean, it's so pretty. Here's Justice. The word Justice isn't even spelled out. Maison deux. Dynamic. Let's see, where's my moon card? There it is. I was waiting for me to pull it out. Luna. I mean, it's just so, look at the moon sun image, the way it's rendered. I just love this. It's better than the Salvador Dali deck by far, I think. The way that the brushstrokes, just the way it feels. And the back is, the back and the quality are really, leave something to be desired. But you know, you can't have everything. I just love the front of the cards. They're beautiful. Functional, lovely. A deck to have fun with. So that's my update, my 8 usable favorite decks right now. Of course that will change. It should change, you know, as I get them, or as my thoughts change, as I, you know, as I learn more. I usually will gravitate towards different decks. But I thought I'd share that with everyone, my updated list. Anyway, thanks for watching.